You know what Yoshi told me about you?
Sure. This is Yoshi Ditten, coup in the gang.
Yoshi Ditten is interfering. Yoshi told me that you are into cryptocurrency.
I am into crypto, and I've been so happy the last few days.
Because it's going up?
Crypto is like, yeah, if you have not invested in cryptocurrency, everyone out there go and buy Ether so my Ether can go up.
Ethereum?
Yeah.
I just bought an Ether today.
Yay!
Yeah!
Yes. Good. I think it's going to go to 1,000 or higher.
When?
I cannot predict the future. Definitely when Bitcoin goes up, it brings a lot of awareness to all cryptocurrencies. A lot of people, the reason I think that crypto is going to go up even more, even though a lot of people think it's a bubble right now, is because still the majority of people that I talk to have no idea what cryptocurrency is, no idea what Bitcoin is. And so the fact of the matter that the majority of people don't even know what it is means that there's still
so much potential for people to get on board with it.
Correct. The only thing that I think will stifle crypto and Bitcoin is if government regulates it without understanding what it is, which is such a huge fear in the crypto community right now because we have a bunch of old white senators who know nothing about technology who are writing the rules. So that's super scary.
And they don't understand it. They don't get it. And they're the ones behind the Federal Reserve. And they're the ones who print out the money. So they don't want you to get into it. But it's like, what can they do? What are they going to do? Shut down Wi-Fi? They can't do that.
They can't, but they've put some regulations in China that have made, I remember when my Ether crashed a little bit ago because they put some regulations banning what's called ICOs, which is initial coin offerings, which is basically like an IPO for coins. And they've put some other regulations in banning things. So I definitely think the government's scared, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It shows that there's a lot of potential, but it's also scary as far as regulation. And then, you know, a lot of our government is in bed with big banks, and crypto is going to completely...
It's a big threat to the banks.
It's going to revolutionize banking. So, you know, all of those fees that they charge you when you send money, wire money, or do other things like that, they're going to lose, you know, millions of dollars. So,
you're gonna see banks closing.
Yeah. So obviously they don't want crypto to be big, but I think it's going to go up more. I'm very happy you invested in Ether. That's my number one coin.
You're an early adopter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I had a crypto guest on my podcast, which is how I found out about it super early.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, like 2 years ago, and he was telling me about it, and my mind was like blown, and I started doing research. It's just great. I think everyone should get into it.
I know, and as Asians who are on the forefront of technology, like this shit just gets us off. Like I just attended 5 lectures on YouTube. On crypto. To us, we understand it.
Yes.
And I don't think it's even that hard to understand, but I think the technology behind it is exciting to learn about because it will revolutionize the way money works and the way money exchanges hands all over the world. And people are becoming more international. The world is such a small place now compared to what it was in the 90s even.
Yeah.
And like when I went to Europe, it was so annoying because I didn't want to take out money in every country that I went and
get
charged a fee. That ATM charges me, and then my ATM back home charges me, and my bank probably made $30 off of all the times I went to the ATM, and then those banks made money off of it. It's like, why can't it be free to take money out when you're traveling to another country? Because more and more people are traveling.
That's true. Well, it's not just your ATM fees. They also are charging you sometimes a currency exchange rate fee. You know, there's all these additional fees. And then, you know, I mean, a lot of people are scared, Esther. Like Western Union would go out of business. So many companies like that where they're sending money to foreign countries would go out of business. But there's no need for it. There's no need for it when we can do peer-to-peer.
Well, they should just shut down ahead of itself because Western Union has been scamming people all over the world for money. Just like when people stop using landlines. Like, who has a fucking landline anymore?
And like people who are over 70.
or like, you know, people used to buy calling cards to call back home
God,
or to call another country. And it's just like, Nobody was like, oh, but what's going to happen to these calling card companies? Somebody needs to save them. No, we don't need to fucking save them. That's going to become a thing of the past. That's going to be in our
just
history,
like payphones.
history books. Yeah,
Right.
and nowadays you can just Skype or WhatsApp for free. And something that used to cost money is now free. And we're just so accustomed to paying these international fees or
exchange fees, trade fees,
PayPal
ATM fees. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like in the same country you can't even send people money. Well, now you can with Venmo, but Bitcoin takes it international.
I just think so many people still don't understand what it is, though. I've explained it to so many people in very basic layman's terms. Like the way I describe
by people, do you mean non-Asians?
You're funny. Just other people who are, oh, well, what is it? What is, Bitcoin? What is Ethereum? What is it? And I'll just say it's a peer-to-peer payment system where I can send you money without a bank. Just like instead of going to the bank to send a wire, I just send it straight to you. And I feel like that is, a kindergartner could understand that. But for some reason, there's so many people who they get intimidated by crypto and they're just like, what is it? I don't, And there's a lot of fluctuation right now. It's very volatile, but I think that's part of something new being implemented and it'll stabilize off. Yeah, if you're not into crypto, get into it now.
I know. That's what I'm telling people is like you should get into it now because the earlier you get into it, it's growing exponentially.
Nobody thought Bitcoin would get to 11,000. I remember when Bitcoin went up to 1,200 and people were like, "Oh my God, Bitcoin went to 1,200." But yeah, it's definitely going to go up even more.
Do you know what causes it to go up? Is it just more people putting money into Bitcoin that causes the price of Bitcoin to increase?
Yes, because there's a limited supply. I think I'm not 100% sure, but I believe there's only 21 million left, or I don't know if there's 21 million outstanding. I can't remember the exact number.
There's 21 million Bitcoins that
total
will ever
ever be mined. Okay, but right now what's going on, why it was going up so exponentially is there's a lot of hedge fund money going in. There's a lot of private capital and private equity. In addition to that, on December 18th, they're going to allow Bitcoin futures trading. So that is a huge, huge deal. So yeah.
Well, and then also Christmas is coming up. No, seriously, I think, the numbers before Thanksgiving and after Thanksgiving, you look at the Bitcoin charts, it kind of went up a lot.
It went up a lot.
After Thanksgiving. Yeah. Because people go home and tell their family, like, oh, I put like a couple $1,000s into this thing called Bitcoin, and then now I have like lots of thousands of dollars. And everybody in the family who isn't a computer programmer or coder is like, what? And then you're home for Thanksgiving and you could show.
And tell everyone about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason I'm surprised, I heard about Bitcoin a couple years ago, but I wasn't really interested in it, the blurb that I heard about it. So it didn't really spark my interest back then. But I think part of the but the reason why a lot of these nerds or geeks or Asians, coders, computer programmers, it's not that they kept it a secret on purpose, but I think part of their personality is to just kind of be quiet.
Yeah, introverted.
They're not the most social, extroverted people. So, I was reading the Reddit board for cryptocurrency, and a lot of people are like, well, I didn't tell anybody about it because I just don't want to tell people what to do or the or the pressure to fall on me. I'm like, you didn't tell anybody because you don't leave your house. Right? Because I've been telling everybody about it.
I'm telling everybody about it, and I've been telling everybody about it for very selfish reasons, just because one, I totally believe in it, and two, I want to make more money, so I want it to go up.
There's almost a threat to the banks because you log on and you see your bank account statement and you see your balance, and it's like if everybody withdrew their money from the banks tomorrow, the banks would go bankrupt. Right? They don't really have all that money.
I think they only have to have, it's fractional reserve system, so they only have to have a small percentage.
Of your balance?
Of your money, yeah.
What?
Yeah. So the way that it works is they can lend a certain percentage based on the deposits. So every dollar you have in the bank, it makes like $100. I'm just making up the amount, but because they can then loan out that amount on their books, because money is not real. A lot of people think money is real. It's not. It's not even a piece of paper. It's just a number. Like they just have it's like a ledger at the bank, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like they physically have that money there. It's not like you open the safe at the bank and there's like gold bars, you know?
Right.
That's like 1920. So it's not real. It's kind of scary.
It can buy real things.
It can buy real things, but it's not, you know, we're on a fiat currency system, so it's not.
Right. And fiat
real.
currency being like the dollars.
Yeah.
Being specific to each country.
Yeah, but it's not backed by gold or anything. So it's based what does it say? It's like backed by the full faith of the US government.
It's like, oh, cool. Yeah, I believe in that.
The full faith and like something. I forgot what it says. It's like backed by the full faith and something of the US government.
I think it's hard for people to maybe understand and adopt this new technology because it is such a breakthrough.
It's such a breakthrough, and just so many people. I mean, that's the reason. I don't know if you're a Trump supporter. I don't think you are, but
No.
That's why so many people are so, you know, blasé about how cuckoo Trump is, because people are just focused on their daily lives, getting through the grind, and they're not even like paying attention to like what's going on. There's like a revolution going on. I'm not talking about anything political. I'm just talking about the way things are changing.
Yeah, I think people complain about Trump all the time, and of course I don't support him, but I think like politicians and the government will have less and less control over our lives.
I hope so.
when we have these things available to us, such as a cryptocurrency, where the government can't just inflate the dollar or, you know, any other currency in any other country and ruin it for everybody, and where basically your dollar is worth shit. It's not here. Our dollar's pretty strong right now, but in other countries, like, they're just fucked. And that's where the cryptocurrency comes into play and actually is going to help so many people in these poorer countries where the government has, like, just printed out way so much fucking Zimbabwe.
I can tell you've been on YouTube watching the videos. You're like, and they're going to help. And I'm like, she's been watching her crypto videos on YouTube.
It's true, but like I liken it to being vegan, right?
Okay.
I'm not vegan, and not all of my money is in crypto, but I'm a part-time vegan, okay? And why am I vegan? I mean, I've met vegans or vegetarians years ago who did it because they're against animal cruelty, okay? I'm not against animal cruelty. I eat animals and get over it, okay? Like, chicken is delicious. Short ribs are delicious. And I grew up eating meat. It is really hard to wean yourself off of meat. But people become vegan for different reasons. Some do it to save animals. Some do it to save the planet, and some do it for their own health, okay? And I'm one of those people who do it for my own health. And so you can get into crypto for the betterment of humanity around the globe, or you could do it to just make a good investment into something that has seen exponential growth in the past months, years.
Exponential. And remember, listeners, still so many people don't know about crypto, so there's still a huge chance for it to go up so much.
I know. I tell my friends and they're like, oh, I heard it's gonna burst. It's like, do you watch the mainstream news? Aw, you're still stuck in terrestrial times, aren't you? You're listening to fucking Joe Schmo, some newscaster.
You know what? I do think it will burst, but I think it will rebound. They've already had 3 Bitcoin bubbles. The first one was when it went up to $100 from a couple cents. It went up to 100, it crashed. It went up to 1,200, and then it crashed again. And then I think it had a mini crash. So there's been a couple bubbles. So there is always the opportunity for people to get super freaked out and fearful and pull their money out. But that doesn't mean it's not going to then go back up again. You know what I mean?
I mean, why would it crash?
Because people get freaked out. They get nervous. Like I said, when they passed that regulation in China banning Ether ICOs, my Ether crashed for like a week, and then it went back up.
So you didn't pull out, you stayed in.
No, never pull out when people are freaking out.
Never pull out. Spoken by a true sexual predator. I mean, like, the thing is, it's run by the people, I feel like.
It is.
Right?
It's run by the people.
It's like a power to the people kind of thing. And I guess why would everybody pull out? Like maybe there's a huge natural disaster coming and like people are scared that like their Wi-Fi will be not working. So they're like, I know my electricity is going to be out for the next week. I'm going to pull all my crypto out.
I don't think there's a reason for everyone to pull out, but people freak out. I mean, you never know. People freak out for all sorts of reasons, you know. Sometimes the stock
Hopefully
market goes
it's
down.
Layered, you know? Like some people freak out, but then while some people are freaking out, other people buy in when the price is low.
Yep. Well, hopefully that happens, but I'm just, so hopeful about it because it's just I got into it just really believing in it and thinking that it was a really kind of cool way to put some of my money, and it's produced exponential returns as far as I'm very happy.
Rosie, you're a comedian. Don't you mean your husband's money? But no, it is a good way because it's like when you put your money in a bank, we just kind of assume that the bank is somebody to trust because it's just been that way for
No.
hundreds of years. I mean, but we all do. We all put our money in the bank. What, you keep your money in a mattress?
No. I was sneering at your assumption that we all trust the bank.
Oh, okay. I mean, in practice we do because we all have bank accounts.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, in theory, you don't trust the bank. But, but they're probably taking your money and investing it and making money off of it, right?
Yeah.
So, and they're just evil and corrupt and they were bailed out by, it's almost...
By us.
Exactly. Our fucking tax
my money.
dollars bailed them out. It's almost like, let's say there's two siblings, right? One brother, like, gets in trouble and their parents, like, let him go. But then they take your allowance and give it to the bad brother. And you're like, what?
So I have viewpoints on the left and the right. But my viewpoints on the right, I do believe in the free market. And part of the free market is if you fail, you crash and freaking burn. And I think we shouldn't have bailed anyone out. We should have let them crash and burn.
Right.
If they're irresponsible, they need to crash and burn.
Well, it's obvious that people in the government have ties to the banks, right?
Yeah. So that's why I'm concerned that they're going to put regulations to try to regulate crypto even more.
And they could. But I think what's going to happen is they're just going to tax us when you do take your money out.
I hope. I would be okay with that.
I mean, you're still making a lot of money, but whenever you withdraw, they'll just tax. It's like they cannot control what we do.
They cannot, but...
Like, we'll just all move to a country where crypto is, free to run.
We'll see. We'll see, Esther. I'm hoping that it's more positive than negative. So it looks good right now. And there's a lot of interest from Wall Street in crypto, which is a huge positive, actually, because...
yeah, it's just going to become more and more legitimized.
Yeah.
I think.
I think so, too.
So, I saw this lady was talking about how at MIT, all the freshmen were given $100 in Bitcoins.
Oh, that's nice.
In like 2015 to study. God. Can you imagine? But that's why.
Ooh, that's a nice little...
Yeah. Can you imagine? Like, that's why I believe in it, though, because it's not something that was created by the government to scam us. It was created by the nerds and the smartest people in this country, or who knows, in whatever country.
I think, yeah, Satoshi is supposed to be Japanese, but I think he's supposedly lives in America.
I don't even think he's Japanese. I think they make it look like a Japanese guy.
There's a Bitcoin, speaking of Netflix, since we were speaking earlier, there is a Bitcoin documentary, which we watched, and they think it's a guy in San Diego.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they're wrong.
Because they were like tracking, I guess when you do the algorithm, you can track, I don't know. I didn't fully understand what they were talking about, but they think it's a guy in San Diego.
Okay. I don't know. I think that guy, it's a group of people.
That was another theory too. That was a group of people calling themselves Satoshi.
It's almost like unbelievable that one guy just created Bitcoin.
Well, he's supposedly a programmer. So there's a few things they know. He's either a single person or a group of people, and obviously a programmer. They were saying they think he's part of this one. I forgot what the documentary is called, but it's there's probably like a couple Bitcoin documentaries on Netflix. I can't imagine there's more than one or two. But
I think there's just one.
there might be just one. Whatever the Bitcoin documentary was on Netflix, we watched it.
Yeah. No, but I believe in it because, because the smartest people who are in San Francisco, who know coding, who know the technology behind it, believe in it and are invested in it. So it's almost like if the smartest kid in the class is doing it, I'll do it too. Right? But it is, like, for me, I think it's just so exciting.
It's true. It's like if you're not the smartest kid in the class, at least
copy off of him. Yes.
Copy what he's doing.
And of course, there were always idiots copying off of me. I'm like, you don't want to sit next to me. But yeah, it is a really, really exciting time. And I think part of the reason why people don't understand it is because it's just so revolutionary.
I think that too. And I think there's a lot of willful ignorance, Esther, because I've explained it to certain people and I feel like I explained it in a way, like I said, it's so simple, and they're just like, I just don't get it. I just don't get what it is. I'm like, I'm telling you what it is. Like, what don't you get?
No, I think I've explained it to people, and they are just, it's not that they don't get it. I think they're just ignorant.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, willful ignorance.
Or like they look at us like we're idiots.
Well, they look at us like we're crazy because they can't imagine a system where there's no banks or no money.
Yeah.
Well, fiat money.
No fiat money. But it totally makes sense, and I do believe it will become bigger. But they look at us like, oh, you're stupid, it's gonna burst, it's a bubble, right? Don't you hear that sometimes from people?
I've heard it's a bubble from a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, because they say, look at the .com boom, or look at the real estate boom, it burst, right?
Yeah.
But not every .com company burst.
That's true.
There were some
Apple was still around. Google was still around.
Many .coms that did really good for themselves and continue to do really good for themselves. And then it created, a whole industry of jobs and websites and useful technology and apps for us.
Or a lot of .coms temporarily burst, but they didn't go out of business, and then they rebuilt themselves.
I'll tell you why these .coms burst is because they had these dudes who would just like whip up any website. and that had no, people were just going crazy. They were just spending money left and right. We just had so much money then that it was almost like you didn't even value it that much. You're like, oh, I'll just invest millions in this website and let me just put it everywhere. But what's exciting about this, there's actual technology behind it.
There is.
And there's actual practical uses for it.
Yes, and there's Bitcoin ATMs already popping up all over the place.
Have you seen one?
I haven't, but there's an app where you can find them, and I was like looking up the Bitcoin ATMs just because I was curious, and I think there was a couple by my house actually.
Cool.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, it's always like the West Coast that are more early adopters.
West Coast and New York. New York is a big Bitcoin, high East Coast, maybe not Middle America.
No, like, remember when, Occupy Wall Street happened?
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't hear more about Bitcoin then.
I didn't hear it at that time either.
Like, that would have been the perfect time. People were so angry that the banks got bailed out that people were moving their money into credit unions.
Yeah.
If people were moving their money into credit unions, they would have moved it into crypto.
Yeah.
Like, how come we didn't hear about it?
I just don't think it was, it's getting a little bit more mainstream right now. I just think it was such an early...
It's because these coders, they don't have any friends. They don't talk. They just stay in their rooms.
Get off Reddit and go tell people.
No, but seriously, that's part of the reason. Like, even when they go on TV and they do these interviews on Bloomberg or wherever, and you see an interview by one of these early adopters, they're not enthusiastic about it the way I am.
Okay, listen to me, crypto guys. You need to hire me and Esther as the crypto cheerleaders.
They are. It's not that they're not excited about it. They are excited about it, but their personality goes from 0 to 1.5. So they just cannot even. That's as excited as they get. And maybe like an eyebrow might twitch for 2 seconds. And that's about it. And you just gotta that's why there's not more people getting into it.
Well, I think there's a lot of people getting into it, but it just needs maybe people like us who have big mouths.
BigMouthAsians.com. Invest today.
Big Mouth Crypto Asian Girls. Maybe we should start a YouTube channel. What do you guys think, Cool and the Gang listeners? Do you guys want to see me and Esther talk about crypto on YouTube?
Maybe we should start our own coin.
Oh, Loud Asian Girl coin.
There's already a KuCoin, but
Oh, there is?
yeah, there is, but I don't think it's a coin. I think it's like a service you use to like transfer your coins or something. I don't know. I don't really look into it that much, but
Have you invested any other coins other than Ether?
Ether and Bit. What do you think? Do you think Ethereum is going to outperform Bitcoin?
There's so many rumors about that. I think it's a better technology, but for some reason, there's just a crazy, crazy Bitcoin hype.
I told my sister, I said, because my sister's like, oh, it's all about Ethereum. Like, Ethereum's going to skyrocket. It's going to be bigger than Bitcoin. And I'm like, okay, that's great. And I do believe in Ethereum, but Bitcoin has a better name. And
It does have a good name.
And she started laughing. And I'm like, don't laugh. Names do have a big impact on whether people are going to put their money into it. And Ethereum, it sounds ethereal and it sounds cool and it's got a great logo. But Bitcoin has a better logo because it has the dollar. So
It does. The Ether coin logo looks like a weird cartoon.
Cartoon.
Yeah. That diamond thing?
Mm-hmm. I don't think it looks like a cartoon. I like it because it's incognito, right? So if you're walking around with a Bitcoin t-shirt, people might be like, oh, rob that guy. But if you're walking around with a Ethereum t-shirt, it's just kind of like, oh, it's a cool design.
Yeah, but it doesn't equate with money though. Like when you look at it, it just kind of looks like a kite, kind of.
Yeah, it looks like a diamond.
Yeah.
Or a kite. A 3D kite.
You wouldn't know it had anything to do with crypto unless you knew about crypto.
Right.
Yeah.
So, which I think it's cool, but also, like, if you want to get the word out there, maybe you should have put, like, the letter E with, like, a $sign or some kind of, I don't know.
I think it's going to go up a lot, though. My husband was predicting 500 by December, and it hit 512 like a week ago.
But is your husband Asian?
He's not, but he's a nerdy white guy, and he's a programmer, so.
Oh, he's a programmer?
Yeah.
Oh, always listen to the programmers. Like, those are the people who are running the world now.
Yeah, we were mining for a little bit, but.
You were?
Yeah.
No way.
I'm, like, crazy into crypto. We're, like, crazy crypto people.
So was mining profitable for you?
So we started mining Bitcoin 4 years ago, and at the time, we stupidly stopped mining because it wasn't mining that many coins. It was taking too long.
How long would it take to mine one?
We weren't able to get a coin. We were only getting fractions of a coin. Like we would get fractions, but it was too
We love fractions.
It was too slow, and we stupidly stopped. So that was a huge mistake.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So you bought all this equipment?
So we bought equipment, and then my husband went on YouTube and watched a YouTube video and made a miner for Litecoin. Mm-hmm. And so we were also mining Litecoin, and then we stupidly stopped as well.
Oh,
so
my God.
I know.
But, like, when you say stop, like, how easy or hard is it to just start back up again if you already have the equipment?
So the Litecoin miner, I believe he sold to a friend. And then the Bitcoin miner, we started remining a couple weeks ago, and then the miner died, like it broke. So right now we have the miner, but it needs to be repaired.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but I should have followed my gut, but we were not focused. We were not focused.
I think it's not too late. I heard when you mine, it's really loud though.
It's really loud.
Like, how loud is it?
It sounds like, when you go to the little...
Sounds like Seven Dwarfs.
When you go to the little girls...
Hi ho, more Bitcoin we go.
When you go to the little girls' room and you use one of those hand dryers? Mm-hmm. It's like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
that's
like,
really loud.
It's not that loud. It's a little bit less loud, but it sounds like that. It's like...
So it's not like... But if it hasn't found something to mine, it's not making that noise. Right?
No, it makes that noise all the time. It
does.
Mines. So what it does is it produces the algorithms, and it's like a computer basically, and it keeps computing algorithms. And every time you mine in a pool, so there's different websites you can use, and you basically take your miner and you connect it digitally with other people who are mining, and so you guys all mine together. And then whenever you find a coin, then it gets split evenly between whoever's mining, based on the mining power that they used.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if that was too confusing for listeners.
Yeah, I kind of tapped out in the middle of it. But like, did your electricity bill go through the roof?
It did, and I think that's why we stopped mining, which was really stupid because it didn't go up that much enough that it was worth it. Like the Bitcoin that we would have gotten versus how much it would cost, it was worth it for us to keep going. But we were
Probably like the similar thing of like equivalent thing of
we were being short-sighted.
lighting like 20 Christmas trees in your house. Right? It's like, does it go up that much?
But when you're broke, you're like, oh, wait a minute. I need to save money. I shouldn't have 20 Christmas trees.
You know, my sister just bought a crypto kitty.
Oh, what's that?
It's this, oh my God, they're buying, like, people are designing cats, crypto kitties, and they're digital.
But what are they made of?
It's just like a picture. It's a digital image
of a cat that's made of crypto.
Of a cat, okay? And I don't know what it has to do with crypto, but it's called a crypto kitty. And then you can breed them, and then you could sell the images of like after they have sex. And these crypto kitties have crypto baby kitties, and then you could sell those. So people are spending millions of dollars on these crypto kitties.
Okay, so this is proof that you can make money doing anything.
On the internet. As long as you have Wi-Fi. But that's what, you know, I'm excited for these poorer countries that don't have, like, you know, all the luxuries that we have in this country.
Because people can make crypto kitties and sell them.
Right. As long as, like who cares? You're living in a hut in the desert. As long as you have an internet connection, the sky's the limit. You can do anything.
As long as you have an internet connection, you can do anything. I was reading a story that is kind of related but off topic of this Vietnamese lady who found her like long lost boyfriend from the war after like 40 years. And it's like, she was like in a hut in like a Vietnamese village on her iPad. It's like, and she found him on her iPad. So it's like, even if you're living in a hut in Vietnam, as long as you have Wi-Fi.
Just keep sucking dick till you can afford an iPad and you'll be fine. We're some of the privileged Asians who get to live in America
and joke about sucking dick and getting your ass touched.
Well, by joking about it, I'm actually bringing awareness to it. So
we're feminists,
exactly.
Feminist, vegan, part-time vegan, crypto girls,
crypto girls.
I'm a part-time vegan too, but just because I think meat is like it's not good.
Yeah.
I love it, but it's not good.
I mean, it's delicious, but I don't eat it that often.
I wish I could constantly eat like organic grass-fed meat, but I don't have the money to go to Whole Foods.
Well, if you wouldn't have stopped mining,
exactly, then I could eat all the meat I want.
You would be able to afford the premium cut meats that they sell at Whole Foods.
I know, we should have kept mining. It's bad. It's sad. Don't make me think about it. I'm traumatized more than my sexual assault.
I even put my QR code on my website so people can donate Bitcoins to me.
Oh.
Yeah. You don't have that?
I do. I have a Ether and Bitcoin donate page. So
nice.
People can donate. I've only had a couple donations, so very low. I need more crypto listeners.
Yeah, but no, you need your listeners to get into crypto.
Yeah.
And then once they turn a large profit, they'll donate. They'll be like, thanks, Rosie, for telling me about it. You know?
Exactly.
It just takes time.
I know. No, I do have a wallet, and I have had a couple donations. I have an Amazon gift page, right? Gift page? Do you have an Amazon gift page?
Wish list.
But I've only had a couple things bought, but they were all like really random. I need to update it. One of my fans bought me a Hello Kitty bikini, which was really exciting.
That's awesome.
I know. I love it so much.
Well, you know, like my listeners have been asking me to set up a Bitcoin account so that they can donate. And like for a while I was like, oh, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it, you know? And now that I've set it up, I realized, God, I should have done it months ago when the price was
when the price is low
at $5,000.
When the price is lower too, people don't feel as bad to donate it because they're just like, oh, it's a couple bucks or whatever. But when the price is really high, like,
yeah. And I was telling Yoshi to open up an account, and he was like, oh, it's too late.
Girl, give up. I've been pressuring him for like months.
What do you mean it's too late? It's still the tip of the iceberg.
I've been pressuring him for months and months and months.
Just put $100. Like,
he's like, I don't have money. I'm like, just put a couple bucks. Like, put a couple bucks. Just open it.
Sell your body. He already sells his body, right?
I told him to come to my house. I would set him up for him. He lives down the street from me.
I told him to open it, and what people don't realize who say like, "Oh, I should have gotten into it when it was only $2."
You can still get into it.
And like they don't realize that like they're gonna regret not having done it when we told them, because this time next year it could be $50,000 a Bitcoin.
That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh, 11,000 is too high." You know what? When the stock market, when the Dow was at 16,000, people were like, "Oh, there's no way the Dow's going to go up. It's a bubble." And guess what? It's at 23 freaking thousand. So don't say never. Say never. Things, whenever people are pessimistic, then there's still room for things to go up higher.
It's their pessimism that keeps them poor.
Yeah, it's
right?
bad.
But
Get
also
into crypto. Get into crypto, people.
People see $11,000. People see, Bitcoin. They see the headline, Bitcoin hit $10,000. And they think that if in order to get into Bitcoin, you have to have $10,000 to get into it.
No. You can buy fractional shares. You can buy
literally 0.00001 Bitcoin. You can literally put $2 into it.
Yeah, it could be worth, your $2 could be worth $500.
It could be worth it all when we see Jesus in our crypto wallet.